I'm the American diamond cutter, Martin DeWitt, Diamond Wizard. I'm showing you pictures of my shop right now. This is the domain that I hang out in. Right here is where we make the diamonds round. It's an old-fashioned diamond cutting machine, diamond rounding machine actually. Most people think diamonds are cut with a hammer and chisel. That has nothing to do with it. This is a lathe, and this is where I spin the diamonds round. The noise that you hear in the background is the machine that I've got going all the time. And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is really what diamond cutting is all about. And here it is. This is my diamond cutting wheel. It's spinning at about 3,000 RPMs. It's cast iron. You can't hardly even tell it's spinning in the picture, but it's dry. It's just twirling away there. And everything I do is hand done, handmade on this wheel. It's literally nose to the grindstone. Wood, you know, like the wood in my bench, that has a single grain that runs through it in one direction. It multiplies over and over again, but it's all in one direction. Diamond has 12 grains. This is actually not a diamond. This is a fluorite crystal. But this crystal is the same crystal structure as a diamond. And you'll see it has 12 edges on it. It's an octahedron with 12 edges. Each one of those edges in a diamond is a grain. And you have to cut each facet across a grain. So as if when you move from one grain or one facet to another, you go across a grain and then in between three, so then you have to orient those. So one of them is across the wheel. Then you might get to a point here where 4 grains converge. You'll have to orient that particular facet in a way that one of its grains runs perpendicular to the wheel. You never know quite which one. But when you're cutting on a stone, at the very beginning you can see these grains, but towards the end of the process, as the stone gets lots of facets on it, you can't see them anymore. You have to remember that grain pattern in your head, and that's what makes diamond cutting very unique compared to anything else. Diamond can only cut diamond. Diamond can also cut any other substance that there is, but it can only cut diamond in certain directions, and those directions is geometric pattern, and you have, as a cutter, you have to keep that pattern in your head as you move from one facet to the next. Not one after the other, not one will cut in the same position on the wheel as the next one. So it's all a matter of using your brain to figure that out, and then hand-eye coordination, you know, to get the finished product. And you know, don't we wish? That would probably be about a 500 carat stone right there. That's actually a glass diamond, replica of a diamond that I got at the Crater of Diamonds in Murfreesboro, Arkansas.
What are you doing?
Putting glue on this. So this diamond is set on a dop with some thermoset glue, and it goes on this lathe. And this is where we make a diamond round. I got to find where the diamond is hitting, and then I need to just, a series of taps will get this diamond centered where I want it to be. The head on this lathe can be knocked out of center. So I can center the lathe literally to the diamond rather than the other way around. Because diamond is very valuable material, and I don't want to lose any material I don't have to. This is a damaged diamond. There's a chip out of one side of it, and what I'm going to do is make it round from that side. The chip is probably difficult to see, but it's right there. So I want the lathe to hit, I want my tool to hit there. It's not hitting there now, it's hitting these red spots here. So if I put that spot down at the bottom and get a little tap here, that's going to raise that spot to where I want it to be. And once I get to mark where I want it, the little red pencil, getting closer.
How big is that?
This is a couple carat diamond, about 2.5 carats right now. It'll probably finish right around 2. Okay, now I've got red marks right by the chip, and what I want to use against it then is a cutting tool, and the cutting tool actually has right here, there's an industrial diamond, and so that's just used for its hardness. It's not a gem diamond. What I'm going to do is literally rub these two together, and when they rub together, one diamond's going to cut the other. This one will get worn down, I don't care, it's inexpensive, and I only want this to wear down in the spots where I want to attack the damage and eventually make it totally round. So this is called the rounding process. Because I'm rubbing two diamonds together and holding them by hand and literally doing it by brute force, this is also known as bruting. And what I want to do is, it's very difficult to see the point of contact, so what you're doing is very slowly coming into it, and you want to feel it or hear it. Now you can hear it touching. They're the two slowly rubbing against each other, and I want to be really careful not to smack it too hard, otherwise it's going to chip it out even more. So there, I was just testing to see, is it hitting where I want it to? And sure enough, there's a little bit of gray on both sides of the chip. So that's what I want to do, is close those two sides of the chip until the diamond becomes totally round. This process, on a big stone like this, I may work on this for close to an hour before I get it round the way I want it to be. And again, just with two diamonds rubbing against each other, one cutting the other, very patiently letting the diamonds do their work. This is not me applying pressure, this is me kind of holding back on the pressure, and I just have to make sure that everything stays steady. If I hit it too lightly, it won't cut. It'll burnish. It'll like put a polish on the stone. That I don't want to happen. I want it to be hit hard enough that it's cutting and soft enough that I'm not banging it around and, you know, causing more damage. So that's what's known as the girdling process. This stone I just finished girdling round. This is also a repair. It's just got little nicks around the edge, and what I'm going to do, a little bit more, actually I got to put a little bit more girdle on it, and then I'll take out the little nicks on the grinding wheel. Okay, so this is called girdling. The girdle is the round, is the outside circumference of the diamond. It's called bruting. It's a lathe. It's really simple, really old style technology. You filming that?
I did. I am.
Okay, so this is the cutting process actually. Here I'm working on the bottom of the diamond, and you can turn this 360 degrees. The idea is you want to get one of the grains in the diamond to run perpendicular to the wheel. Now, there's a bunch of different, there's 12 different grains in a diamond, so you have to know which one it is that you're going to be cutting a particular facet on. The next facet will not cut in that position. It'll cut in another position. Maybe right next to it, maybe all the way around the opposite side. There's a bunch of different patterns that you have to learn. That's what makes diamond cutting unique. This one we're going to try first in the position that I believe it will cut in. And I'll touch it really lightly to the wheel. You can hear it for 1 second. And what I'm trying to do is see where it's touching on where the wheel and the diamond meet. And I can make little micro adjustments to get it right flat to where I want it to be. So this, I can go up and down. It's kind of like Etch a Sketch. I can go up and down, and what I'm doing is trying to catch a facet that's already on there flat to my wheel and make it bigger right now. And I use 2 different areas on my wheel. This area right here I use for cutting. This area out here on the inside I use for smoothing. On the outside the wheel actually turns faster, although it's going the same RPMs. It goes more distance, so it turns faster, so I can get more cutting action out here. And I use a little bit coarser diamond grit for this out here. And now I've got that facet flat to the wheel. I'm pushing on it. The wheel's spinning in this direction. These 2 things help me just lock my tool into place, so I know what position the stone is in. Now, when I look at this, I want to see where it's cutting. I want to see the condition of the cutting lines. Does it look like it's cutting real well, or is it just kind of scratching it? Because only when that grain is absolutely perpendicular to the wheel will it cut well. It's cutting well now, and I'll show you what I would do is I just continue to cut in that position until I've removed all the material I want to remove, made the facet almost as big as I want it to be. When I'm almost done with it, I'll move to the smooth ring. In the smooth ring, so this paste that I showed you before, that's my cutting paste. You see it's sort of a light gray. My smoothing paste is finer, same oil applied to it, but it's a dark gray. So that's just the nature of the beast. I use 2 different fingers to keep them from polluting each other. But here I can put that on the wheel, push it in, so it's not cutting my finger. My finger's got a little give to it, but it'll cut diamond. So now out here I just let the diamond, I'm just guiding it. I'm not really pushing hard on it because I'm not really wanting to cut, I'm wanting to remove cutting lines. I just want to polish them off. And you can hear as it gets smooth, it kind of squeaks. It's like squeaking on almost a glass surface. That's when it's starting to get a really nice polish. So this is the grinding process. Have you ever heard the old adage, you know, nose to the grindstone? That's what I do all day. So each diamond has 58 facets. They're each on a particular angle. They're in relation to one another, top to bottom. All of that I do by eye. I use very simple gauges. These are old antique gauges. This gauge they call a butterfly gauge, and it has 4 angles on it. I'm really most concerned between 41 and 40 degrees. The bottom angle of the main facet of the diamond should be on 40 3/4. So I'll eyeball in between those 2 what that is. And then this is a top gauge they call a star gauge, and that has 7 different angles on it. That 34.5 degrees is what I'm after. This goes from 30 to 37, and so I can use those to measure the angles as I'm going around the diamond. But once I've measured a couple of them, everything else I lay in with hand and eye, and I'm just looking at the facet and seeing what that facet does in terms of light. Can I see an opposite facet? What position is that in? And those reflections tell me what the optimum beauty is going to be coming out of the stone.